what do I do for an intro for this video? They didn't lose, so I can't go straight into madness, but they won and they screwed up the plan for the tank. Oh, I'm sorry, were you talking to me? I was just watching Forsberg and Yossi's beautiful shootout goals and Rene's amazing stick save on Pavelski in the shootout from last night for like the 100th time. Preds tie 3-3 with the Dallas Stars. And then, here we go. Everybody's hands go up, way up, as the Nashville Predators defeat the Dallas Stars 2-1 in the shootout, thus winning the game by an overall score of 4-3. Just as it looked like the Preds were going to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, three of the best players ever to wear gold were the ones to ensure the Preds got the second point. I was a little surprised coming into this game that Rene would be getting the start, considering that he played the entirety of the beating that Florida gave the Preds back on Saturday. So I thought he would get rested, but I guess Hines didn't think Kazimir Kaziskral, who is the backup right now as Saros is still hurt, was ready to go in to start this game. Kazimir is definitely going to have to get one of the starts on this upcoming road trip unless Saros comes back, because with Rene's 38-year-old body, he is not going to be able to handle another 7 straight starts after this one. Anyways, about this game. For a team that allowed the Stars to score 5 out of 7 chances on the power play against them, it was really impressive to me that the first power play the Stars got, the Preds killed it off. Then in turn, the Preds got their first power play opportunity, and as they have been doing as of late quite impressively, they didn't waste it. The Preds set up, and Forsberg from the blue line takes a shot, and number 64, Mikael Granlund with the beautiful tip, and it's in. 1-0 Preds. Unlike yesterday, the Preds don't settle for just one goal in the first period, and it's Granlund, and he's forechecking, and he's in the corner, and he gets it out to Calle Jarnkrok, and he roofs it on Oettinger. It is 2-0 Preds. It was at this point that a part of me wondered if Hines had convinced his team that they were actually playing the third period instead of playing the first, because besides being outshot, this is the most dominating first period I think any of us have seen the Preds play all season. Not a lot going on in the second period until there was a rush by the Dallas Stars into the Preds zone, and Les Penzer of the Stars decides to push Benning into his goalie, and that causes a free-for-all because then Borieski comes in to help and Cogliano joins in. But I was impressed to see teammates sticking up for teammates on this team, which would be a preview for later on in the third period. On the ensuing power play that the Preds would receive from this skirmish, it would have looked like the Preds got a 3-0 lead, but Dallas challenged it for goalie interference. Granlund was ruled to have interfered with Oettinger's glove on the goal that was in question, and it was waved off, so the Preds remained up 2-0. But fear not, Preds Nation, the Preds will be rightfully rewarded for that skirmish, because later on the same power play, Forsberg gets it to Captain Roman Josi, who gets it to everybody's favorite new goal scorer, number 28, Eeli Tolvanen, rips it. 3-0 Preds. Man, if they want to make another James Bond movie, they should totally cast Eeli Tolvanen, because the things he does with that stick of his, it's just like a flamethrower. Soon after that goal, Nick Cousins would get a delay of game penalty for knocking the net off the pegs behind Rene on what would have been a sure Dallas goal, but it turned out to be a good penalty to take, because on the ensuing power play, the Preds penalty kill shores up and they don't allow Dallas to score. Are my eyes deceiving me? The Preds are playing well defensively and are not allowing the Stars' power play to burn them. The Stars are turning up the pressure a bit in the latter half of the second period, outshooting the Preds after 21-13, but Rene, amazingly, in the second half of a back-to-back that he played both games in, is playing really well, and the Preds are still maintaining their 3-0 lead after 2. Just over a minute into the third period, Jamie Benn has a great chance to open the scoring, but Pekka shuts him down and maintains his shutout. Preds would get rewarded with a full 4-minute power play early in the parts of the third period, but they can't put the Stars away, and the Stars kill off both sides of it. Gurianov of the Stars would also get a breakaway of his own, but Rene stops him too. Fortunately, Pekka would not be getting a shutout tonight, as Faksa would break open the scoring for the Stars with 7.5 minutes left. It's 3-1 Preds. That's fine, it's just one goal. It was at this moment that I was okay with the one goal if it meant getting the Preds to win, considering it's the second half of back-to-backs and how hard Rene had to work on Saturday. Well, then came another. Captain Roman Josi would get violently boarded behind Rene, and there's no call, so of course Ryan Johansson, being a good teammate, maybe not a good player overall for his team because of what was about to happen, was a good teammate, came to his captain's defense and retaliated for the missed call. But of course the refs see what Ryan does, because Ryan has a reputation, even though Josi should have had the reputation of being an award-winning Norris defenseman, so maybe he should get some protection. But alas, Johansson goes to the box and the Stars get a power play. And of course, what happens on a power play like this, the Stars score as Pavelski deflects it off of his skate, and Rene, who was on his right post, trying to use it as leverage to push himself over to make the save on Pavelski, but for some reason, the net came off on his own because Rene's not strong enough to push it off with just his skate, and there's question on if the goal should count or not, and according to the NHL refs and Toronto, for some reason, if there's a tie between the net coming off and the puck going in, the tie goes to the puck. I have never seen that before, but if they're going to do it, I hope they're consistent. It was at this moment that the reverse of the St. Louis game from 3 years ago came rushing into my memory. You guys remember that? Remember when Nashville inside Bridgestone Arena was down 3-0 with 10 minutes left to go in the third against St. Louis, stormed back to tie it, and then Forsberg won it on the walk-off penalty shot goal in overtime? Yeah, I was starting to get scared that this was going to happen here. Sure enough, final stages of the game, Ottinger pulled for the extra man for Dallas, and Robertson ties it at 3. Stars came all the way back with 7.5 minutes to go in the third. And we're off to overtime. Overtime solved essentially nothing, and we were off to the shootout. Robertson scored first for the Stars. Then Forsberg comes in on Ottinger with the sweetest backhand dink roof job to tie the shootout at 1. Rene made the save on Dallas' second attempt on Heiskanen. Then you had Johansson with his typical slow motion, slow down deke out. That didn't work. Then it was Joe Pavelski's turn. Pavelski comes in on Rene. He seems to have Rene deked out, and he's over here looking at a wide open net, and Rene comes over with the stick in the air. Oh, and it stays out. And you should have seen the look on the Dallas Stars bench. Rene was kind of laughing about it, and maybe in his own way, he was saying, "No soup for you," in Finnish, of course. Then it was Captain Roman Josi's turn. Bloodstained jersey and all from the missed boarding call near the end of the third period. Josi comes in, he dekes out Ottinger. Looks like he's missed the net because he's on his backhand, but he gets it home just enough into the net. Preds win the shootout 2-1, win the game 4-3. Well, there you have it, Preds Nation. In a season where you haven't gotten what you were expecting, in a game, you get what you weren't expecting to happen. You weren't expecting them to win this game coming into last night. You weren't expecting them to maybe lose the game after being up 3-0 after 2 periods. You certainly weren't expecting them to win in overtime or the shootout after blowing a 3-0 lead. But they got it done. With all the men out of the lineup right now for this team, they got it done impressively. I don't know what else to say, but I hope this didn't delay the turnover that this team needs to have longer success down the road. And as you see number 28 play in his first few years with this team, make sure to enjoy it, because if there's any indication that the time goes by quick, just look at the other players who are rumored to be traded that not too long ago we thought might be Preds forever. The good years go by fast. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, hit like if you liked this video. Hit subscribe if you really liked it. You can find my social media by clicking on the channel name. And someone be sure to tell me if they got the blood out of Jossi's jersey yet, or if it's going to be in the future Preds Hall of Fame.